Well, hello, Tube. We have A Case in Need by Jeffery Hudson, the only book that Jeffery Hudson ever wrote, who was also Michael Crichton. This book was written in 1968. Michael Crichton might be older than you think. Well, I mean, he's dead now, but he probably started because a lot of people think just like Jurassic Park and stuff. No, he'd been around for a minute. Written in 1968, it was his fourth novel. Won the Edgar Award in 1969. It was made into a movie in 1972 called The Carey Treatment, and it was released under Crichton's name in 1993. Probably he wasn't too happy about that. Um, so back in the day when he was actually a doctor, or working his way to become a doctor, he wrote under false names, so that way he wouldn't get in trouble. I believe he won. I don't know if it was for this book or maybe a dramatist strain. He won a prestigious award, and he had somebody else accept the award, so nobody would figure out who he was. But this book was rough for a number of reasons. This is like a what would you call this? A like a thriller, like a medical thriller, which Michael Crichton, like I said, he was a doctor, but he created ER. Like he did a lot in like books and TV and stuff in the medical field. But think of it like the Maltese Falcon meets House, I guess. Um, so Dr. Barry, he's a pathologist. His friend who performs under the table illegal abortions in 1960s Boston. A lady with a daughter of a very well connected Boston family died from a botched abortion, and his John Barry's friend gets fingered for it, and so John spends the entire book trying to figure out what happens and trying to get his friend's name cleared. And John, if somebody would have said Doctor House is based on this John guy, I'd believe it. He's a jerk. He's a know-it-all. He's he's very unlikable. At least Doctor House, is likable, right? This guy wasn't, which made it kind of hard to read. And really, is the second half of the book when his friend's lawyer gets involved, and this doctor wants to basically take over, still continue to take over because he spent a year in law school, and so he's a know-it-all. It's just annoying, and it's rough. And this book, so when I did the Wikipedia search to get like the dates and stuff, I read like the stuff, and it talks, and according to Wikipedia, this book addresses not only illegal abortions in Boston in the '60s, but also racism in Boston in the '60s, and I don't understand that at all. I think what's going on there is, so this book uses the N word a couple times, and I don't. It's hard to um, it's hard to be like, well, it's okay because it was that time, um, or try to defend it. But Michael Crichton doesn't come across as racist in the book. It comes across as sort of like how, well, Hemingway, I guess, probably was a racist, but well known for it. But it's like reading To Have and Have Not, how the N word is used in it. Um, And I wonder if the Wikipedia entry is claiming that the book um, talks about racism in the 60s so that it doesn't get lumped. So Crichton, this book, and his works don't get lumped into like Ernie Hemingway. Kind of interesting. But it's kind of cringy. I mean, not kind of. It is. It's cringy. Um, just especially because it doesn't need to be in there at all. It doesn't add to the story at all. Um, and just I kind of wonder if I don't know if this book's in print or not, but if it is in print and if it gets reprinted, if it's not, if they don't take those out. Just I mean, I imagine very few people would even notice it even being gone. But um, yeah, the twist at the end wasn't very good. It was kind of like I think it was just like running out of steam, and so he wanted to end it, and he any mini miny mode the people throughout the book to be the cause of it. Didn't really see it coming, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. And like in the Maltese Falcon, I want to use that because I don't read a lot of like these sort of books. Um, I feel like in the Maltese Falcon, and I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know. I feel like in the Maltese Falcon, Dashiell knew where he was going with it, and then just kind of worked the story in around. I kind of feel like Michael Crichton had a story but didn't really have an ending, so he just like, this person did it, and just went with it. I could be wrong, I could be right, I don't know. That's just how I felt reading the ending to this. And I mean, I'm a Crichton fan. I like Crichton, and overall, I'd say I liked the book more than I disliked it. Um, but it's kind of like Airframe, kind of same sort of thing where the story was all right. The twist at the end was dumb, and the main character wasn't very likable. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Michael Crichton completionist, I'd say it's probably worth your time to read. It was entertaining up to a point, especially if you can look past the main character being a jerk, being a know-it-all jerk. um, However, if you're not a Michael Crichton completionist, I think you can skip this one and be just fine. Yeah, just be just fine. I do not feel like there's anything in here that's a must read, unless you're a diehard Crichton fan. So, I think that's it for this one, peeps. Have you read A Case of Need? What'd you think of it? Am I right? Am I wrong? Uh, yeah, it was alright. Not gonna read it again, but I'm not sad that I did read it. So that's it for this one, peeps. Cheers. Oh, I didn't. I hit the stop button. Now we're hitting this. That's it for this one, peeps. Cheers.